Hello, and welcome to Monumental, where we sit down with entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries, and big thinkers making monumental change. Here's your host, Evan Holliday.
All right, we are back on Monumental with the man, the Hall of Famer, the keynoter himself.
No, man, I'm just trying to drop some knowledge.
I love it. Mr. Darnell Reed. We're at the best ever conference. We're here in Keystone, Colorado.
Keystone, Colorado, man. First time I'm here. Been to Avon.
What's
up
that?
The street. Avon's up the street.
Oh yeah.
Bear Creek. I went up there skiing. I'm not a big skier, but was up there for a American Airlines event, and I've been up there like 3 years in a row. So I might go this year. I think it's in a couple weeks.
So I loved your talk this morning when you were talking about really the combination of a huddle and how that applies to business and everything we're doing in the monumental space, in the real estate space. Could you elaborate more for that for our listeners?
Well, I mean, I've been in a huddle for 30 years. And from the time I first put on a football helmet, it was about getting together with a bunch of guys and trying to get a task done. And that's really what the huddle's about. And I try to use that now as my whole life has been a huddle, but everything I do now, you rely on somebody else to help you. Sometimes you do it yourself, but you got to have confidence in the people in the huddle. And you got to play a role, and you got to know that sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. And this is not only for just kids and teenagers, and this is for adults too, because this is a cruel world. And if you're not ready to fail sometimes, because that is a part of success, is failing, you're just you're going to get chewed up and spit out. So you got to have those a little bit of qualities to help you out.
And like you said on stage, I mean, not giving up. I mean, you went through 4 Super Bowls, is that right?
Yeah. And, it was rough, but it taught me a lot about, character. It taught me a lot about knowing that some things aren't going to go your way. It's the ultimate goal, but sometimes it's not going to happen for you. How do you come back from that? You give up. And, as a team, we never gave up. And we were going to try to do it until we got it right. And we were there's 7 Hall of Famers from that football team.
Wow.
So I think we did something right.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, honestly. It's just been powerful to hear your story and how like we talked about earlier before the podcast, like you took this from being, like you said, you're like, I wasn't always, home wasn't the best place.
Yeah, and I always wasn't the best athlete to a certain point. And I wasn't being at home sometimes wasn't the best place for me, but I had avenues where I can grow as a person, and I grew as a person at home too. But I think outside the house you get taught a little bit differently from different people, coaches and people of that nature. And I just had some great people around me that really saw something in me, not only in the sports but as a person.
From a very early age, was that your coach in football or coach in athletics, or?
I think just athletics and just people in general. I've always been gravitated since I was 7 years old to playing every sport, try to play everything, basketball, baseball. I did everything, and did I know at that time? Obviously not. That someday I would be on a podcast talking about it. That was kind of my mission in life, and that was, to a certain point, made me who I am as a person. Regardless of the wins and losses, it built a lot of me eternally, inside. So, that's what I try to tell kids, that you're going to fail, you're going to win, you're going to lose. It's how you come back from that.
And that's why, I love everything you're doing. I really do with Reed. You're reading with kids. You're heavily involved with the Boys and Girls Club across the country.
Yep.
I mean, to me, that is the definition of monumental. Like, you are making massive change in the world for children that may not have that leader, that guiding
mentor,
light in their life, and that's so crucial.
It is, and nowadays, because of influences outside of of school. It's the phone. It's the internet. It's all these things that pull these kids away from really the important things that they're going to need as they grow up and as they get older. If you want to be the CEO of a company, or you want to be an athlete, or sometimes doing the things you're doing are not the right way, and you got to put yourself around the right people that put you on the right path. And that seems like it's an old cliche, but that hasn't changed in forever. It's the same thing.
So how did you do that? How did you take it from saying, okay, I'm playing sports at the middle school level or the childhood level, and taking that into college, and then transforming that into 16 years of awesome football in the NFL, and now a Hall of Famer?
I think, I had a vision. I was very passionate about what I wanted to do. As I grew older, the passion became, it was, as you're younger, it's way out there. But as I got older, it seemed like it was getting closer to me. And there was a chance that I had a chance to, do something and make something for my life. So, and be an inspiration, because that's really what I am now. And my story is inspirational. And there's a lot of athletes that have inspirational stories of where they came from and how they persevered through a lot of things. And in the business world, it's the same thing. It's just a different platform.
Exactly. And so what message, you said you've spoken to a lot of boys and girls clubs across the country. What is the key message that you're delivering to those children?
Be yourself. Don't ever settle for average. Because being average is just average. And you can't have that mindset. You got to think you're going to be great all the time. Because being great, most people that get to the top of the mountain, when they get up there, there's not too many people hanging out there with them.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get up there. But there's a lot of people always falling down from that mountain.
And not wanting to get back up.
Yeah. So once you're up there, you savor it. And there's always going to be people that are going to try to knock you off of there. And you got to, when you're falling off of there, if you ever do fall, those people that always helped you on that path up there are to be the ones that catch you.
So what advice would you have for listeners that are like, hey, man, I want to be the Andre Reed of X, of this industry, of multifamily investing, of giving back?
I think it's just, again, listening to yourself in your head. And when you look in the mirror, you put the blinders on and you focus on yourself. Again, in this world, there's so many different entities coming at everybody that you got to be able to decipher what's good for you and what's not good for you. And that's hard to do in this world right now.
Do you still struggle with that, of like figuring out what's good, what's bad, how to turn the blinders on?
Yeah, of course. But I'm a seasoned vet now.
Yeah.
And I've been through that, and I've seen people go through the ups and downs and jump back on the wagon and jump off of it and do that, and which is a part of growing too. But sooner or later, there's something that you got to stick with. You got to stick with it. Yep.
Yeah, like you found the Boys and Girls Club and
that
massive impact.
That was such a blessing when I was a kid, that they were so important in my life. I mean, they were like my ace. Like if I had a deck of 52 cards, there was that ace in the card that I needed in the deck, and they were the ace for me.
That's powerful.
Yep.
So how would you recommend our listeners find their ace?
Just get out there and you know what, test the water. You know what, sometimes you got to jump in the water and just figure it out that it is cold.
Yeah, and just keep swimming, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to, hey, man, that water's cold. I don't know if, I don't believe you or whatever. Just jump in and you go, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You were right, it is cold. But some people they stay back and they don't want to find that out. They don't want to find, just jump in and then you figure it out. You don't have to put your finger in there and go, oh yeah, just jump in and
exactly,
find it out. And I think, as a society, we're so scared of doing things.
Oh yeah.
That it might hurt us in a certain way, which is true, but sometimes you gotta take a chance, man.
And you never know until you try. I mean, it's amazing the difference in mindset of those that have accomplished a lot. It's like they're proud of their failures.
And some of our most successful people have taken chances.
Yeah.
And those chances have not been good, but they still take chances. So where is the irony in that? Where's the success story in that? They didn't care. They were going to take a chance.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we always talk about on the podcast how, like, if you think about, like, your comfort level as a circle and just getting outside of your comfort level,
Yeah.
pushing into that
Yeah.
uncomfortability and doing that on a regular
And
basis.
let it fall where it may.
Yeah.
Hey, this is it. This is what I got to live with, whatever. And then you act accordingly to what happened.
So what are you doing right now to push yourself out of that comfortable zone?
Well, you know, as you get older, you realize when things come at you, you know if they're good or bad. you do.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of getting older and being involved in things, that you can smell a rat from a long way away. You know, I'm always on guard about things, and you know, I know, you know, who's good for me, who's not. I know who wants to help me, who doesn't. I'm pretty personable kind of guy, and sometimes that has got me in trouble. Sometimes it didn't get me in trouble. So they just got to be careful, you know. You got to be careful that you can smell them coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you got. Somebody's always trying to get you and trying to influence you in a way that you don't want to be influenced. So that's what I guard about.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think it is. It's like, you know, having that kind of smell test of people and who you want to be aligning yourself with.
You got to get the litmus test, man. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, you're partnering with people. That's a big commitment. That's like marriage. You gotta vet those people.
Yeah, and this conference is really a big thing when it comes to that, because everybody's in groups. Everybody, to a certain point, is relying on somebody else. There's individuals that rely on the whole business of real estate and partnering with firms and doing that kind of stuff is relying on somebody else.
Yeah.
And putting your 2 cents in to influence maybe somebody else. But you have to rely on that person too. Yep.
Like you were talking about earlier, I mean, you know, it takes a team for you to put on this presentation. You had somebody help out, and
Somebody had to help me out.
Yeah.
I needed help. You know, as much as I talk and think I know everything, I don't know everything.
What? You don't know it all?
Now.
Well, I have to say what we talked about earlier about you know, you really diving in and giving back to kids, giving back to Boys and Girls Club, like that aligns so much with what we're doing, because we don't want to just build homes for families. We don't want to just build affordable. That is great, right? That is a great mission in and of itself. But we're like, how can we take this a whole step further and be like, let's empower these people. Let's empower the children of the families that are living here, and let's get them out of affordable housing.
Yes, and we definitely can, you know, figure out some stuff and kind of brainstorm about some things. You know, hey, things get happen in numbers, and again, to rely on somebody else in your field of what you do, it could be a good thing. So we'll do that.
I love it. Well, any last words for Monumental?
Just be monumental. I mean, your podcast says it all. Live every day like it's the last, and when you wake up, be monumental about it.
Yeah, be intentional, be monumental.
There you go.
I love it. Well, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to tag Andre on Instagram, tag myself.
There you go.
Let us know you're listening. Let us know you're enjoying, and have a monumental day.
There you go.